Hello and welcome to Ranked Up. My name is Noah, and here's a list of our favourite RPGs that you'll spend hundreds of hours in. While many games claim to be epic, the games we've selected today are absolute behemoths that will swallow your free time and leave you begging for more. Stick around to see which legendary world actually takes the top spot for total playtime, because it's a journey you won't want to miss. Before we start, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss any updates. But anyway, let's get started. Okay, so kicking things off at number 10, Baldur's Gate 3 appeared to come out of nowhere back in 2023. While sure, we saw the signs of its outstanding success while it was in early access, the launch was a bigger deal than anyone anticipated. It took the internet's heart and it became an absolute phenomenon, even winning countless awards from various outlets. While it does have a very long runtime, especially if you're the kind of person who dives into every little cave and dialogue option, the journey itself can actually be wrapped up in probably under 100 hours. So, the beauty of Baldur's Gate 3's longevity is its just replayability. There's so many ways to approach quests and progress through the entire narrative, and that means you want to replay it again and again and see different things. And this isn't just because you saw different corners of the internet debating who the best waifu is, it's also that the debate can live within your very own heart and mind. Who do you want to betray or support this time around? Will that road you'll less travel go to the weird end, turn out at a weird, extremely profitable end, and does it even work on another playthrough? This game is so fun because the possibilities are pretty much endless, and it really takes that ambition that the game has and multiplies it. It is easy to get lost in the world of Baldur's Gate 3 for hundreds upon hundreds of hours, thanks in part to some awesome mod support as well. Next up at number 9, the legendary RPG that just won't quit, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. This game has been making Time Warp headlines for a long time, not just because of the recent Netflix series, but also thanks to multiple re-releases on new consoles and a new upgraded next-gen edition. So, The Witcher 3 guides players on a really natural journey. You're wandering the roads between towns and cities, picking up monster contracting gigs, and if you do all of them, you could spend over 100 hours before finishing the story. The DLC alone, Blood and Wine, has its own entire open world to explore and takes about 20 to 30 hours to finish. It's amazing for a side story. The freedom to tackle the game's many side quests, contracts, and just general tasks is just incredible. It's one of the reasons why The Witcher 3 remains near the top of every RPG list across the entire internet, just thanks to its sense of freedom. If you want to spend your time riding your horse through the countryside and hunting monsters, be our guest. Do you want to become the world's greatest card shark and take the beautiful game of Gwent on your own little journey around the world? Hey, you can do that too. You could waste entire days skulking around a newly redesigned Novigrad in the next-gen update, or you can stop and smell the roses in Toussaint. The Witcher 3, even with its age and its movement mechanics that don't feel at lightning speed as other action games, even with that, it's a very easily paced game, and that really just lends itself to a ton of hours in the world. Next over at number 8, we have Elden Ring with the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. So Elden Ring is one of gaming's biggest monsters, figuratively and literally. This open-world masterpiece brought the sadistic allure of the Dark Souls games and a vast kind of field we haven't seen before. It's not exactly super big compared to other modern open-world games. I mean, you'll learn that later on this list, but what really defines the lands between, of course, is the density, the sense of dread, the scope, the scale of it all. Practically every square inch of this map has some hidden dungeon, an important NPC, a challenging boss fight, or a quest to unravel. Exploring underground tunnels leads to entire hidden areas, like immensely detailed regions, and they're stacked onto the map, really making this world feel intricate yet condensed. There is so much to do and see in Elden Ring that even a quick playthrough could last over 100 hours easily. Toss in many of the game's various optional bosses, the complex quest lines, some of which are incredibly convoluted, and then there's even the optional zones, like just pure optional content. There's so much more in Elden Ring compared to even very lengthy RPGs from other developers. If you're a completionist, of course, your playtime is going to skyrocket to really absurd levels, but we're counting the average playtime, and for our money, it's close to 200 hours for a full playthrough with the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. Hopefully you play that. So if you're new to the game or to the Souls genre in general and want everything out of the game, then expect that you'll spend hundreds of hours in this game. Overall, what I'm trying to say is that Elden Ring is a total time sink that I think every hardcore gamer will love and enjoy. Over at number 7, Red Dead Redemption 2. This is the cowboy noir game that exceeded expectations. Even for fans of Grand Theft Auto and the original Red Dead Redemption, this game seemed larger than anything that Rockstar Games had produced before. Of course, I say seemed because Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out soon, and I feel like that has a lot more improvements than any of Rockstar's games. But still, this game had an impossibly detailed map filled with multiple towns, counties, a big old city, and enough wilderness to make any mountain man proud. The main story alone is a sprawling adventure with loads of memorable side characters to meet in uncivilized towns and sticky situations, and the journey just never stops having new main quests to tackle. It's a long game, but each of those stops along the Wild Way is another just surprise, another revelation. Alright, so if you want to squeeze everything out of Red Dead Redemption 2, you'll have to hunt legendary animals, acquire every possible outfit, and completely upgrade your camp with all the extra amenities. And that's on top of everything else. There's loads of just random encounters, things you can just bump into. How many players ever actually encountered the old lady traveling back home who asks for your assistance? I don't even know. There's an entire ghost town that's easy to just miss. Murder mysteries to solve, aliens to encounter, voyagers to help. Look, it's a long game, even if you don't try to find everything. If you just casually explore on your journey, you're going to be playing far longer than 100 hours, and it's absolutely worth every minute. Now at number 6, there's only really one answer every gamer is thinking of when we start talking about long RPGs. It's Skyrim. Skyrim has been around for so long, gaining new features and a fresh coat of paint at least on seemingly every new console release. After the Switch version back in 2017, and yes, that was 8 years ago, we thought we were done, but then the Anniversary Edition popped up on PS5 and Xbox Series X, adding more to this decade-old open-world legend in the form of Creation Club content. Look, Skyrim is an all-time classic no matter what. The main story drops you into the snowy land of Nords here, and then it basically just cuts you loose to complete any quests in any order. There are guilds you join by talking to NPCs, and you can become the head of the Thieves Guild or the College of Winterhold, the Dark Brotherhood, the Blades, or the Companions. So actually, as long as you've got enough time to spare, you could take on dragons, bravely explore the many dungeons spread across the land, or just simply go for a hike. The world is your oyster. You can build houses, get married, or just visit each of the major cities and get sucked into the problems they're experiencing. As endless as the base game is, it has grown over the years. The DLC Dawnguard adds partying up stuff with vampire hunters and more. Dragonborn sends you to a whole new region to tangle with the original Dragonborn. It's a huge game that gets bigger every time it returns. I'm not sure how they can balloon Skyrim anymore, but if you have any more hours in the future to sell, then it's very likely we'll get another version of the game. Who knows at this point? Now down to number 5, we have The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is one of the most iconic Legend of Zelda games. It's really just an absolutely fantastic game. When it was first released, fans dubbed this to be the biggest Zelda game out there, and it could take you 100 hours to complete. It gives players a vast world map to explore, either on horseback or on foot. You're going to be completing hundreds of shrines alone. This endless combat, tons of real cool, weird puzzles. Look, while you technically would do a 100% completion rate in under 200 hours, we think that it takes so much longer. Most people can easily spend well over 100 hours in the game. You'll probably still feel like there's plenty left to do. It really just kind of depends, but there's so much beauty in this world, and you might get sidetracked with an area that you think holds something special to discover. I know that's what I did. It's even better if you're playing this game for the second or third time, because tearing through a replay with relative ease is kind of the dream. Racing to the end, collecting the most OP pieces of gear, or mastering the trickiest parts of the system, like riding that Master Cycle Zero motorcycle, or just learning more about the Master Potion crafting, the fastening most permanent armor upgrades. To us, 200 hours is a soft 100% number. It's nearly just as easy as clocking 500 hours into the game as it is to hit 100 hours. But for now, we'll say this massive Zelda adventure takes one long to reach 1 point and 100%. It may not be as big as Skyrim, not as replayable as Baldur's Gate, but this game had one of the biggest maps to explore, and it holds tons of secrets for you at every single turn. Coming in at number 4, we have Persona 5 Royal. This is the definitive version of the stylish, supernatural heist that essentially redefined what a modern JRPG can be. While the original was already a massive undertaking, the Royal Edition adds an entire extra semester and a new palace that pushes the clock well past that 100-hour mark. You're playing as a high schooler by day and a phantom thief by night, and let me tell you, managing your social life is just as demanding as fighting demons. Between studying for exams, working part-time jobs, and hanging out with your confidants, there is never a dull moment in this neon-soaked version of Tokyo. The turn-based combat is incredibly slick, but it's the deep, character-driven story that really hooks you and refuses to let go. To truly see everything, you'll be aiming to max out every relationship, collect every powerful persona, and conquer the Mementos tunnels, which could easily keep you busy for 120 hours or more. It's a flashy, high-energy marathon of a game, and honestly, you won't even mind the time sink because every day in-game feels like a reward. Next up, we have Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, which is basically the ultimate tropical vacation if your vacation involves street brawls and running a literal 5-star resort. This game is an absolute behemoth, taking Ichiban and Kiryu all the way to Hawaii, marking the first time the series has really stepped out of Japan on such a massive scale. What really makes this a total time sink, though, isn't just the polished turn-based combat, it's the fact that it's essentially 3 or 4 games packed into one. I mean, you could easily spend 50 hours just on Dondoko Island alone, building up your DIY paradise and completely forgetting that there's even a main plot to finish. Between the Sujimon battles, the hilarious sub-stories, and just roaming the vibrant streets of Honolulu, the sheer density of things to do is just staggering. If you're looking to see everything this game has to offer, you're looking at a playtime that comfortably sails past the 100-hour mark without even trying. For the completionists out there, finishing every bucket list item and mastering every job will probably see you pushing closer to 150 hours. Honestly, it's a vibrant, emotional, and frankly ridiculous journey that proves the series only gets better as it gets bigger. So if you want a game that will keep you occupied for months on end, Infinite Wealth is exactly the kind of massive experience you need to dive into. Now at number 2, Kingdom Come: Deliverance is the kind of medieval simulator that is a completely different sort of time sink. While most games on this list kind of shower you with constant rewards and flashy cutscenes, Kingdom Come: Deliverance is the slow burn of a game and one of the slowest out there. You play as an average guy living in Bohemia, and you're not even a warrior at first. You're just a guy living in a village with your dad. When the village is ultimately destroyed and you're forced to escape, that does kick off an RPG journey on the run, but then you're dropped into one of the slowest leveling systems in video games. Basically, every skill you possess starts at 0, and building them up enough to actually do anything in this game takes time. Even bashing bandits with a wooden stick is actually hard in the earlier sections of the game. Honestly, this game was here before Final Fantasy could even be created. Just talking isn't your forte. Everything has to be trained, and eventually you'll be zipping all over the world, getting the best equipment and building your character's power level. But compared to everything else on this list, it takes so long to get all of that together. It's a slow, methodical, and very realistic game. That's what this game's all about. It's also got a ton of extra side content to complete, if you're so inclined. And now that the sequel of the game is already out, well, prepare to spend a lot more time sitting in front of your monitor. We're recommending this one for the true RPG sickos. You know who you are? Now finally, at number 1, Cyberpunk 2077 is a game with actually a real good redemption story. Let's admit it. The game had a pretty rough launch, with tons of players dropping out left and right. But CD Projekt Red really put in the work and turned it into one of the best RPGs of the generation. They fixed almost every major bug, improved the gameplay with a rehaul in the 2.0 update, and the game is now slicker and better than ever. And with the addition of the Phantom Liberty DLC, this sci-fi extravaganza has become kind of one to compete with the actual Witcher 3. It boasts a thrilling 30-hour storyline with a huge new area to explore, tons of weapons, builds, and lots of other cool stuff to craft. It's not as vast as Skyrim or other games on the list, and Night City isn't physically that large. But what it lacks in scope, it makes up for in density. Just a lot of density. There are tons of quests and combat encounters. You name it. Still, it's packed with interesting characters and neon-drenched streets, offering plenty of distractions. Of course, but here's the real surprise. You'll just notice that your playtime is already racking up. Most folks wrap up the main story in around 20 to 30 hours, but completionists expect to spend well over 160 hours fully experiencing it because they want to see all of the main plot all of the endings and play through all the side missions. For this game, just doing the alternative endings alone takes up a whole lot of time, not to mention if you want to try those different builds and approaches in every mission. So whatever choice you make in the game, Cyberpunk 2077 is a time sink that is now, thankfully, well worth all the hours you're going to end up putting into it, and we have CD Projekt Red to thank for it. Anyway, those are the 10 biggest RPGs, ones that could easily take up way hundreds of hours of your time if you want to see everything they have to offer. These games demand time and dedication, but they're incredibly rewarding for anyone who's up for the challenge. Did we forget any other RPG? Well, there are definitely other massive games out there that have also been acclaimed. If you have some recommendations, let us know in the comments section below. While you're there, subscribing will also help us out a lot. Plus, you'll never miss a video from us here at Ranked Up. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys in our next video.